Okay, so one of the things that might happen when you're growing your business is you want to start offering more services, right? Now, this will happen in many different ways in terms of what services you offer and when you offer them, right? So, the point of this episode is to kind of point you in the right direction in terms of how to go about offering new service, when should you do it, and when it's simply not that it doesn't make sense. I would just say altogether avoid offering that set of services because it's more of a distraction and an opportunity, right? And I've made a few episodes here in the past, but not going specifically over these points here. So before you start thinking about any kind of other service, master the core services that you currently offer, whatever that means to you, right? If you're just doing interior detailing and basic washes and a wash and wax, like master those core services before you keep on going more and more and more, right? Because depending on where you are with your business and what you're doing, if you just keep on adding more and more without ever having like a strong foundation of like, yes, like I know how to do this, it'll take you longer to learn. And if you are starting off with core services in your business, like you can master that and start selling that. Like you don't need to have this full range of services that you're doing in order to go and start getting customers. Like if you know how to do an interior detail and a wash, you can go and start making money. So if that's the skills or the tools and products you have to offer those two services, let's say, realistically four, right? Because if you're offering an interior detail, you can also offer like an express interior cleaning. If you're offering a wash and wax, you can also offer a wash, right? And then if you can offer those four services, you also have all the tools and products to offer an engine detail. So realistically, that's five services that you can offer. Master those five right there, and you can go make money. You can start your business with those five services, with those two services, right? So master or become very confident in those set of services, and don't think you say, oh well, I'm a detailer and everyone here offers correction and coating, so okay, well let me spend some time and let me save up some money to go get the polisher and the pads and the compounds and the polishes, and let me practice on some vehicles, and let me get a ceramic coating, let me install, let me go get trained. Like, you don't need to do that. So master the core services that you have right now. Don't say, oh well, everyone else does this, so I have to do it. I mean, eventually you can, right? You can over time add that service. But if depending on where you are, you don't have to do that right now. Like I get so many messages like, "Hey, you think I can start a business without offering XYZ service, or you think I could I could start a business by just doing this?" And it's like, yes, of course you can. 100% you can, right? Because you're solving someone's problem with your specific service, right? I mean, so absolutely yes, you can, right? Again, over time you'll add new services, but master the core services that you have. So next point, and these are in no particular order. These are just how I wrote them down. Next point is offer complimentary service when it makes sense, right? Again, a complimentary service will look different for everyone. So like, let's say, again, using that same example of, how to do the core services of a wash and wax, a wash, a deep interior cleaning, an express cleaning, and an engine detail, right? The next complimentary service for you might be a headlight restoration. It might be paint correction, right? So offer services that make sense, right? And most of the time, like the next step of service that most detailers go into is paint correction and ceramic coating, right? Like that one is probably like our most intensive service to offer as detailers. So a lot of times people start off with the core basic services of what I just listed out, and then that next level is like, oh, okay, let me get the polisher, and let me get the pads, and let me get the compounds, and let me practice. So that's like the most complementary next linear step of a service that you can offer, right? Again, depending on where you're in your business, like for us, an additional complimentary service that we started offering many years ago now, maybe 4 years ago, or I don't know when, was smoke odor removal. So obviously we had our interior deep cleaning, pretty standard. And then the next one above that was smoke odor. And we've done, I mean, I don't know about hundreds, but we've done maybe hundreds actually. I don't know. But we've done like a lot of smoke odor removals now. And that was a service that we added over, after many years of just doing interior cleanings. We specifically added smoke odor removal. Like the goal of this service is smoke odor. Technically, it can be any odor, but this is specifically geared towards smoke odor. And then, maybe 2 years later, like now, we started offering water damage restoration, right? So it started off as the core service of an interior detail, and then it branched off to, okay, we're offering smoke odor removal now. And then not too long ago, we started offering water damage restoration, right? It's still the kind of the core of an interior, or actually, no, it's not, because each interior job that we do in terms of the subcategories that we have, the sub-services, it's for a specific task, a specific objective, right? So water damage restoration is, hey, maybe a customer left a window open, it was a heavy storm, and their vehicle is flooded with water or had water, right? And it's still very fresh in terms of like it hasn't dried and it hasn't created mold. So we'll bring the car in. The goal with that one is not a deep interior cleaning. It's, hey, we're gonna remove the seats, remove the carpeting, inspect the underside, dry and detail the frame. If we have to replace the carpeting, we'll order new carpeting, reinstall a new one, and just get all the water out so before it turns to mold, right? So that's that specific job. It's to mitigate the risk of water damage and to prevent mold, right? So we'll do that. That's our process for that. It doesn't include a deep interior clean because that's not the main goal with this one. It's, hey, let's get the water out. Let's replace the carpeting. Let's replace whatever we have to replace before it turns to worse damage and before mold starts kicking in, right? Now, can it include it if we sell it in there? Yes, but like the main objective of water damage restoration is to remove the water to prevent damage, right? To prevent future damage. Which again, it's much different than a smoke odor removal because the main task with a smoke odor removal is removing the smoke odor. Because even if it's a completely clean, fresh looking interior, but there is smoke odor in the interior, we still have to go, even though it's completely clean, we're still going to go through the whole interior cleaning process in order to reduce and remove that smoke odor, right? Another interior service that we offer is mold removal, right? So again, it's still an interior cleaning. It just has a specific task towards that specific kind of, towards the solution that we're solving, right? So now for interior alone, we have our standard interior deep cleaning. Now, this isn't really a service. It's just how we position it when it's needed. We also have a restorative interior cleaning. So let's say like it's a very trashed interior. Like, hey, it hasn't been cleaned in so many years. There's just so much pet hair and so much grime and so much gunk. And it's such like, it's, call it a disaster detail. Like it's like, this is, top 10 worst cars we've seen, right? We call that a restorative interior detail. So we're typically like a standard interior cleaning might be like what, 260 to 400, 450, just depending on the size and stuff like that. And if it requires that, like we're like, dude, like this, like we're gonna take out the seats, we're gonna have to extract like multiple times to get decent results. There's so much crap underneath the seats that like we have to pull out the seats to make sure we're cleaning everything properly. Again, it's an interior deep cleaning just at a much heightened level. Like we're going even we're taking 20 extra steps to make sure like it's just the absolute best result that you can get. That's our restorative interior cleaning. So it's not really a different service. It's just like, it's a different tier that we have because when a customer comes to us and we're like, oh, this one we consider our restorative interior cleaning. And that's when we have to go, we have to do triple the work to get decent results just based on the condition. So for our interior cleaning, we have our basic standard interior cleaning, a restorative interior cleaning, smoke odor removal, water damage restoration, and then mold removal, right? Now, these are very complementary because we're still doing the same, like not doing the same process, but like we're still working in the car. We're removing things, and like over like once we started offering smoke odor, I think I don't know 3-4 years ago, maybe. Since then, we slowly rolled out other services. Right, we didn't just do everything at once. Like after we got comfortable with smoke odor and like removing seats, and we went over to water damage restoration. We started removing more and more seats more frequently, and we got more efficient with that process. Ordering material. I mean, there's jobs where we charge $1,400 to do water damage restoration, and not that. Like when we first started doing it, let's say it would take us 12 hours, and then now doing the same work, just that we're more confident in removing the seats, the carpeting. Removing the plastic pieces to like access different points. Now it takes us 6 hours to do, right? I think one of the jobs that we did, I think we hit like $160 an hour because we're just like, whoa, like this, we're super efficient at this now. But I'm saying we slowly added these services. Like once we're like, okay, hey, let's try this one. Hey, we got a call for this one. We've getting a few calls. Maybe we should offer this. Okay, let's do that one now. And it's been a slow progression adding those interior detail jobs, right? And it all stemmed from like, oh, we do interior cleaning, right? But people are asking like specifically for smoke odor. Okay, let's offer smoke odor removal. Hey, we're getting calls for flooding in their vehicles. Do we do that? No, we don't. Okay, hey, we're getting more calls. Okay, maybe let's look into it. Hey, let's try that one. Okay, that actually wasn't that bad. Okay, if someone else calls, we'll do that one. Hey, let's create a page on our website and market that. Okay, more calls are coming in for water damage. Okay, so now we're doing water damage. Like that is the progression of how we started offering that service. And all like water damage and mold removal. Those are like, I think for the most part, those are all have been like 1,000 or 1,100 plus each time, right? And again, like with water damage, like, and even water damage, like that's not like, oh, and we're gonna clean your interior. Like, no, that's to prevent any damage. Like, we're gonna make sure that you don't have any water damage from from the water that got in. So something else is a complementary service that fits a detail shop, right? Would be window tint or PPF. Now, I would be super careful about this one because like the investment and the learning curve to do window tint is much different than PPF. A lot of times I talk to detailers about like those two, and especially the clients that I have where they're talking about, hey, what's the next move and what I do and such. A big notion is, hey, window tint and PPF, I want to offer that. I want to get a shop. Each one has its place. I would always just lean towards window tint because the investment in both the equipment and the training and the time you have to invest to practice to become confident in that service is a pretty night and day difference. And a quick message from our sponsor, Jobber. So this episode has a lot to do about the different services that you're offering at different times in your business. And this is 100% reflective of what I went through, right? Because I used to be a solo detailer by myself. Then we had a team. Then we got a shop and mobile. Then we got rid of the mobile unit. Now we're just shop based. And now we've expanded our services into film and everything else that I'm covering here. And at the core of everything, I've used Jobber to help me organize all the services, everything we've done since I think now 5 years now, 5+ years. So Jobber is our core CRM that we use to keep track of the customer's information, send out quotes, get quotes approved, get deposits paid, get invoices paid. We use it to track our reports for employees to clock in and out. Like Jobber is at the core of a lot of what we do in our business. So if you want to give it a try in your operations, you can click the link down below and get a free 14-day trial plus a special discount. I wouldn't worry about offering either of these services and going and getting a shop if your revenue simply isn't there, right? Like if you're not fully booked out, if you're not hitting your revenue goals, whatever goals those are, I would not even think about getting a shop or going into window tint. Like focus on detailing, do that, become a master at that before you spread yourself out even thinner. Because then if you're trying to also learn window tint, like it's a whole other set of skills that don't relate to detailing that will just take a lot more time. So like instead of spending the time and the money to learn window tint or PPF, spend that same amount of time and energy growing the detailing side. Right, because that'd be far more profitable. It'll happen faster. You get more efficient at it versus like trying to offer new service. Because you'll always make more money if you keep on adding more and more services. The issue becomes that then at some point, like you're just spread out so thin because you're trying to do everything because you're like, oh, well, I want to offer correction and coatings, and well, we should offer window tint too. And if someone wants window tint, what if they want PPF? So I want to be a one-stop shop. That's all great and such. It's just there's a time and place for that. And oftentimes, if you pull the trigger too soon, you're spread out so thin. You're not a master of anything. You have bubbles in your or not bubbles, but like your film is lifting. There's debris behind it. Your cuts aren't good. Your PPF the same thing. You have debris. You're not laying down. You're not wrapping around the edges, and you're doing everything. But because you're so spread out so thin, like you're not really a master at any of it, and the results are impacted by that, right? So. It's great to have that idea of like, oh, let me be a one-stop shop. Oh, if they want tint. Oh, if they want PPF. Oh, if they want ceramic coating, they can do everything here. That's a great long-term goal. I would 1,000% not rush that because more problems will arise trying to do it that way. Like I said, the last 4 years, I mean, we slowly added more and more services for interior detailing, and it's been the same thing with film as well. Like we started offering vinyl wrap, and then waited like I don't know, like a year or so, and then we went to window tint, no PPF, and then waited longer, and then went into window tint. It was vinyl wrap, PPF, window tint, and then very quickly we realized, hey, let's focus more of our energy on window tint. So like we kind of put vinyl wrap and PPF on the back burner and like specifically focus on window tint. So focus and clarity, it definitely helps out a lot with your services. Next here is do not offer adjacent services. And I kind of thought about this, about the word adjacent, like in the math sense, right? So like the math definition is two angles that share a common vertex and a common side, but do not overlap. So basically it's like, well, for instance, like residential carpet cleaning. Like, yes, you have an extractor. Yes, you can clean their sofa or their kitchen seats, or maybe you're like, hey, I have a big enough extractor. I can just clean like their actual carpeting. That's too far off because yes, it's still carpet cleaning. Yes, you have the extractor. Yes, the same process. Yes, you're maybe using mostly the same chemicals. Like for us, we're using chemicals for residential cleaning, right? But then trying to offer residential carpet cleaning is too far off from detailing that you're running a separate business. Because then now when someone calls you and you're saying, Zebra Detailing, how can I help you? Hey, yeah, I'm looking to get a quote to clean my 4 bedrooms, right? And it's like, oh, well, the way you price is different. The process is different. How you book that in is going to be different. And it's too far off of your main core services. So that's why it's like, yeah, like you're using the same extractor, you're using the same chemicals, but it's a different platform of a business. Because that could be its own business, right? Like window tint can be its own business, but it is very complementary to once it makes sense to get there, to offer that at your detail shop, right? But window tint in itself can be completely on its own. Another example is offering exterior window cleaning for homes, right? Like yes, you're a detailer, so you understand how to you purchase the squeegee and what's it called? You purchase the material, the items. You can scrub. You can use a squeegee. It's like it's so easy. Like I learned it. I picked it up really quick. Again, going back to the same example of residential cleaning, where it's just the process is different, the pricing is different, right? Like exterior window cleaning in its own is its own business, and mixing that in with detailing and window tint, it's too far off of like aligning with what you're doing with detailing, right? Because then here's where the next issue offers, right? The more and more services you offer, you will make more money because they're just more of an offering. You get a little bit of customers here, you get a little bit of customers there, you get some customers here, and you put that all together. You're like, yes, we're making revenue. The revenue is expanding and growing, right? The issue becomes then, like for one, if you're doing all those services, you're going from window tint to carpet cleaning to exterior. You doing that all by yourself is a recipe for the opposite of what I said of clarity and focus, right? Now you're going all over the place. Your van has 2-3 different types of equipment. It's just too much. Not only that, but then when it comes to when you offer more services, it makes your business more complicated. And not in the sense of like, oh no, man, like window cleaning, it's so simple that I can just do that. Like, oh no, I can actually just kind of, it's so easy. Like, yes, for sure. You as the owner, as the primary tech, you that has the most skin in the game and that wants to succeed, you can figure it out. The difficult part becomes, let's say you hire someone, okay? And let's say you offer residential carpet cleaning and then detailing, right? And window tint. Let's throw that in there, okay? Where do you train that employee first? Are you focusing them on the detailing side? Are you focusing them on the tint side? Or do you focus them on the residential cleaning? Because if you are running that schedule by yourself and you say, oh, hey, well, in this morning we have a residential cleaning job and then we have a detail at 11 a.m. and then we have one exterior window cleaning at 4 p.m. That employee's like, so I'm learning 3 different businesses, and then it takes longer to train. It's harder to retain. It muddies the employees' vision of like what, like it's so much that we're doing here, right? Whereas if you said, hey, we offer detailing and that's it, and we like it's much easier to train, to streamline the learning process. It's much shorter because they don't have to learn all these different disciplines. So in that regard, it makes it more complicated, right? And then trying to hire someone that's like, hey, by the way, you have to learn 3 different businesses, right? It's a lot for them to go through. Because this is applicable too to, like, let's say you have a detail shop and you offer film, window tint, PPF, vinyl wrap, right? And you hire an installer, right? Let's say they're brand new. Okay, well, which service do you start teaching them on? Are you gonna teach them? Are you gonna teach all 3 of them? Are you gonna teach all 3 services to that one tech? That's a lot for them to learn. Maybe you know how to do this because you've been, running your detail shop for 8 years now, and you started off with tint, then you went to PPF, and you know how to do it. But are you gonna offer? Are you gonna expect that one tech to also be as dedicated as you to learn to become a master at window tint and become a master at PPF? That's a lot to ask for. Now, can it be done? Yes, the people that want to be in the film industry and like they want to do that. But for most people, like, you have to be very focused with, like, hey, here is your objective. Here's why you're at our company, and here's how you're gonna succeed is by doing this, right? So it gives yourself and the employees more clarity of like, okay, here's what I'm doing, right? So it's easier to train and streamline and get them up to speed. Next is if you're gonna hire a salesperson, right, to handle your calls, teaching them to know about detailing, window film, exterior window cleaning, residential carpet cleaning. That's a lot more information they have to know. Right, because you want them to be knowledgeable when they're talking to potential customers, right? So they have to understand the process and what you're using and how long it takes and why this happens and why this doesn't happen and how this is supposed to work out. And hey, what about this? And hey, what about that? Right? They have to know all the ins and outs because you want them to sound professional and authoritative on the phone, right? Well, hey, by the way, so here's what we do for residential carpet cleaning. Here's what we have for detailing. Here's what we have for paint correction, ceramic coating. Here's what we do for window tint. Here's what we do for exterior window cleaning. It's like, I mean, that they're looking at 2-3 different businesses. And it's like, man, this is a lot of information to take in. Versus if it's like, hey, we're doing detailing. It's like, okay, here is what you need to learn, right? And make things a lot more simple. And again, I'm not saying that like, oh, well, to never offer more and more services. It's just there's a time and place for all of it, right? And a lot of times, like we kind of do it too early on, and it ends up, the vision and the idea is there, but just the execution of it isn't done well, and it just becomes muddy, and it hurts everything else. And then next with that effect is keeping track of everything in your CRM, right? So again, I don't care what CRM you're using, whether it's Jobber or your Rabel or Square or TintWiz or whatever other platform, the more and more services you offer, the more and more ways you have to figure out how to deliver that service through your CRM. Now, let's say you're using, let's say you're using, it doesn't matter, any CRM. And you're like, yes, it's perfect for this. And then you offer this new service and like, okay, I want to sell this specific service this way. But that platform doesn't let you do that. You're like, okay, well, I have to find a workaround and then this. And okay, well, maybe if I get this other tool and then I do this and yes, it'll solve that. It gets too messy, right? And again, you can work around this. You can always find a workaround, right? Don't get me wrong, because we use other tools as well within Jobber to like streamline everything for us. But it makes sense to do that in a controlled setting, when like you understand what's happening in the business and how to deliver all these services. Because again, the CRM is also tied to your salesperson, which is also tied to your techs, right? That are out in the field and like, okay, let me use the CRM, and that's right, I need to go do exterior window cleaning now. And then after that, we have a detail, but then the settings aren't all the same, and because this and that, and it gets messy for everyone. So that's why, like, you don't want to rush into like, oh yeah, let's do tint. Oh yeah, let's do PPF, and I'll just outsource that. Oh, let's do window cleaning, and let's do residential carpet cleaning, and let's clean their sofas now. It's too much there, right? And we've had that issue too. Like we run into issues right now of like, yeah, well, we offer, like I said, even the interior cleaning services. I mean, that's a lot for someone to learn if we're going to teach someone on how to sell that, right? Like, hey, it's not just an interior detail. Because a water damage restoration has its own process, and the objective of that is different. And what we do is going to be different versus if we're just doing a smoke odor removal, which is different of just the interior detail, and then which is going to be different from mold removal, right? And that in itself is like a lot of information to take in, and then for them to understand all of that and to bundle it all in, and then like a lot of our jobs that we have, it's, oh, hey, can I get an interior detail? Oh, and can I get window tint? Oh, and can I get correction and coating? Hey, by the way, can you also tint my tail lights? And for someone that is strictly on sales that isn't a tech, it's a lot for them to learn because they're not hands on with it. Like they didn't perform all those services and now they're selling it. It's just, oh, they're gonna learn it, and then so it's harder for them to learn because they're not in the nuance of the service, right? Because it's a lot to learn. And again, like like with PPF, it's like there's so much nuance to it, right? Like which vehicles are going to be more difficult, or how complex a bumper is going to be, and why you can't do this, or how long it might take. Like it's a lot of information to take in, and it only gets more and more difficult to train someone like a dedicated salesperson because there's so much going on. So hopefully you help that helps you out. Hopefully you avoid some of the mistakes that I've made in offering those services. And yeah, I'll end it right there. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.